Project STEP will celebrate 35 years of expanding opportunities and inclusiveness through classical music. To tell us about a June 10th concert in partnership with the New England Conservatory are the executive director of Project STEP, Gabriella, Sanna, and one of its alums, Monique Smith. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
I want to start with Gabriella to tell people who don't know the stories. Talk about the partnership recipe around Project STEP.
Yeah, Project STEP was founded 35 years ago with the intent of addressing the underrepresentation of people of color in classical music. And it is the result of a partnership between the Boston Symphony Orchestra, the New England Conservatory, and BU, partnering with Project STEP to make this happen. And the partners have played a really, really important role over the 35 years.
Monique, what brought you Project STEP?
Well, as I tell people, I was a smooth 4 years old, and I remember my elementary school music teacher handed me a slip of paper and said, "Have your mom sign it," and I thought we were going on a field trip. She signed the paper, and then every Saturday since then, until the time I graduated high school, I was at Project STEP. First started with the Focus program, playing recorder, doing eurythmics, and then eventually it became the main program, and I started on the violin, and I played that for 7 years. And then my teacher told me that I was switching to the viola, and I said yes, and I learned how to read alto clef over a summer, and I started playing, and Project STEP's an amazing program. It really fostered my love for music.
Gabriella, talk about how many hoops that involve here, because getting to read music, getting to read different clefs. I mean, some people will be scratching their heads now. I mean, you need help to do that, don't you?
You do need help, but it happens very naturally. And reading music, it's not as hard as everybody thinks. Clearly, good instruction will lead and help, but it is something that needs to be done every day. And so, kids just start, and Monique can confirm this, you start with a couple of notes. For the string players, you start with the A and the E, and those are open strings on your violin, and then you start filling in between the A and the E. And then pretty soon you can, transfer and translate into a different clef. There are patterns, and those patterns are what help children's brain to make connections and apply what they learn to other things as well.
Monique, what kept you going with the violin and then with the viola? Was it the music, just the people around you working in this program?
I think it was a combination of everything. My parents were definitely a driving force with me, making sure that I practiced at a young age, and really being my cheerleaders behind the scenes, in the stands. But at a certain point, Project STEP, it doesn't just become a program, it becomes your family. And so there's this feeling that, we're all in this together and we're all helping each other. And what I can learn from one person, maybe I can teach to another, being able to give back as well. And I mean, all of that just comes together and makes me, at least, want to learn more and want to do more.
Gabriella, another element here is to get partner groups and individuals from those groups, whether it's the conservatory or the BSO, they show up. And I guess that's going to be happening here too with this anniversary.
Oh yes, absolutely. This celebratory concert that is happening in Jordan Hall on June 10th, it is an example of that. We're going to have some members of the Boston Symphony Orchestra playing with our students or playing as guest performers. But the connection with our students definitely goes beyond that, beyond the appearance on a concert. Our students get a lot of face time with BSL members during lessons. Some of our students take lessons with them. We have master classes with them. So it is a constant contact.
Monique, I know playing music can be a lot of fun, but I also know you can work a lot of time practicing a piece, and you go to somebody who's coaching you, and you play it for them, and they say, "I don't know, maybe you should do this a little." And what happens to you next when that happens?
You know what? It's really like being in school, like writing a paper. You know, you have all of these ideas and, you know, this is how you want to present it and this is the avenue that you want to take to express yourself. And, you know, your teacher or your mentor goes, I think you should do it a different way. And, you know, you have to hear what they're saying and say, okay, and give it a try. You know, you always should be able to try it. And sometimes it works. And sometimes you realize as you get older and more advanced in the program that, you know, I can take what they're saying and mix it with what I would like to do and what I would like to express and would like to see happening and create something even more beautiful.
Now, this sounds what you do for a living now.
It's part of what I do for a living, yes, yes.
And tell us a little bit more about what you're doing, because you're still very much involved in music here.
I am. So I do teach privately, both violin and viola to young students. My youngest student is the tender age of 3. And my oldest student is more than 3, we'll say. She's an adult, and they're amazing, and they both want to learn. And, you know, as Gabriella had said, you know, learning music, being able to read it, it's not very difficult. It's just like learning a new language. Outside of teaching privately, I'm also an active member of a hip-hop orchestra based out of New York. It's called The Phantom and the Ilharmonic Orchestra. We have quite a few tour dates from August to the end of this year in places like Denver, Colorado, upstate New York, Florida, Atlanta, Houston, so yeah.
Gabriella, I guess this is interesting here with the chemistry that goes on, the cultural chemistry, because this isn't about getting different kinds of people to play the same kind of music. This is about people redefining classical music too.
How?
Well, because you make it more inclusive, and this is music that draws from all these native folk traditions. America's got this country of all these different kinds of people, and that goes into art forms of music. It just like Verdi in Italy, or you know, or composers in Russia that did the same thing.
I'd say that music is a universal language, and no matter of what your culture is, music brings everybody together, and then you take it from there. It's building community, it's building trust in each other, it's learning to negotiate, learning to accept and to give and to take, and so it's all of that.
And finally, Gabriella, tell us a little bit about some of the highlights of the celebration that's going to be happening on June 10th.
This event is very special because we're going to have every single student in Project Step on the stage of Jordan Hall. We have 52 students this year. The youngest one is 6 and the oldest one is 18. We have 4 graduating students, and everybody will be on the stage playing a piece that has been, it's not a commissioned piece, but it's been transcribed on purpose for this group. And then, of course, we're really excited to have a few BSO members on the stage. One of them will be performing with a student a Bach concerto, the Bach concerto for oboe and violin. And then we have a couple of guest artists, again, BSO members. So I think it's going to be a very, very exciting program.
We should mention if people want to find more about the event or just how to get involved with Project Step, you've got a website they can check out?
We do have a website. I encourage everyone to, you know, go on our website and reserve a ticket for the June 10th concert, and any information is right there.
Right, thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Gabriella, Sanna, and Monique Smith from Project Step. In a moment, celebrating the 150th anniversary of Hyde Park. We'll tell you about some history and 3 upcoming events, but first, this message.